Portugal. There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, the podcast, and of course, the Portugal Club. Join us in our virtual village of Gompeiro, where we give you the absolute best sense of community as you live your best life here in Portugal. Now, talking of that, coming to Portugal, buying a home here, let me introduce to you my mentor in the world of real estate, Mr. Carl Hyde. What does a good real estate agent consultant do? Let's find out. Let's get the answer to that question this morning. Nice big round of applause. Here he is, live from south of the river. How are you this morning, Carl?
I'm good. Bon dia. Bon dia.
Bon dia. Nice mug. Nice mug. So how are you doing? I get the sense you're quite busy. You live in a beautiful part of the world and the country. Family are over for their holidays. You're trying to run your business. Quite a lot going on?
Yeah. I mean, work-wise, extremely busy. And then, when family arrive, it just goes to another level because you're trying to entertain people, trying to keep people happy. And not that it's a burden or anything like that. It's just, you always feel a little bit under pressure to everything increases, housework increases.
Yes, that's right.
Everything.
All that eating out, going to the beach increases as well. Fantastic.
It's a real burden.
Yeah, when you live in dreams, this is what happens. And so what we'll talk about this morning, I hope, is for those people who want to be in that condition of welcoming friends and family to their new home in Portugal. They've got to buy the place first. And I know some cheeky rascals, Carl, who say, oh, sorry, we've only got a studio flat, but there is a great hotel down the road. They plan that in at the beginning because they anticipate this situation. Others are like, do you know what? We'll get a T5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll entertain everybody all year round. We love people like
that. Maybe I should have been in the first camp. That might have made my life cheaper and easier, But no, I'm in the camp where not got a T5, but I've got a big enough place where we can cram people in. So no, I love it. This is the best time of year for me because this is one of the reasons I came here. So it's one of the pleasures of. Just family can just come, family, friends can just come over. I never refuse a visit. I'll just say, provided we're here, which we are always pretty much, come over, we'll find space. Entertain yourself. You've got the pool and all this. So, very lucky, very lucky.
Very good, very good. Okay, for others who want to share this lifestyle, Carl, you and I, full disclosure, we both work at the agency. You are my mentor. I'm new to the business, so I'm asking the big question. This morning, as I train myself, you come to this business and you have a few ideas of what it's like, but really, you need to know the sort of kind of secret sauce. So let's have a look at the list of ingredients this morning of what makes a good real estate agent consultant. What do you think that is? It's work in progress, of course, isn't it? You're building experience every year. You're working with more people. But what do you think? What makes it really work from your customers and clients' points of view, do you think?
I mean, I think it depends on the part of the world you're coming from. So most of my clients are from the US. So they've got, they're coming from a very structured, organized system that's very, very regulated. And then if you come into Portugal and you realize, it's more like, it's more like the Wild West sometimes when it comes to real estate, there are rules, and there are regulations, no doubt about that, and at the agency we do follow them, quite stringently, but it's not always like that on all sides. We deal with a lot of different agencies every day. A lot of them are super professional, ready with the documentation, all that kind of stuff, and then you get the others which are just a bit like, been like it for 20 years doing it like this way, why change, so
this is the spectrum we're looking at, isn't it? Like clients, customers who are used to a highly regulated, organized and professional business from the US, for example. I mean, that is I guess the marker at one end, isn't it? And then I heard a horror story yesterday of somebody who clearly went and bought a house and they were told, we'll just use our lawyer. And they did all of that and they wanted residency. And the lawyer, I think, said something like, well, we'll just put something in the contract to show that you're living here and that'll be fine. And when they started asking questions, years later, as you might, It's like it's like how dare you question our professional judgment? You know, it's like we've got very foggy. This is the thing to look out for, isn't it? When you're not getting your questions answered and things go a bit foggy and you're not getting your calls returned, that is a situation, the Wild West situation, you don't want to be in, right?
Yeah, here's the key line, which I always say to people, and I've said this to people from the US, and I've even said it to Portuguese clients, and I said it to a Portuguese client recently, and it was like a bombshell moment for her, because she was like, "Oh my God, the agent actually said that to me." And the line is this: "Don't worry, this is just how we do it in Portugal." Yeah. So when you hear that, put the phone down, turn it off, and never speak to that person again, or deal with someone, call someone like me for help, or just walk away, because that is the worst thing you can hear. Don't worry, that's just how it is here in Portugal. That's when it comes to like, oh yeah, the pool's not on the plans, don't worry about it. Or yeah, you know, the upstairs, the annex there, it's not on the plans, don't worry about it. Now sometimes it's right, okay, you don't maybe have to worry about it. We have to understand the implications of it. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to worry about it, but it has implications, and you'll hear that a lot. So if somebody says that to you, I mean, just walk away. And this is why you need someone like me or one of my colleagues at the agency or you to be that barrier, because I can say, well, I am worried about it, so go and find me the answer, or we go and look at another property. It's as simple as that, you know.
Right, so, Carl, we haven't played this video for a little while, but just to make the point and drive it home, if someone, and this is any country, it's not just Portugal, is it? If anyone in any industry and anywhere in the world says, "Don't worry, that's just how we do things here," this is what's likely to happen. We might need to send that to some clients, right? So that's the first thing to be aware of.
But it's so true. And I mean, literally, I had a Portuguese client recently who they were buying it's a friend actually, and they were buying a house. And this is something else that I'd just like to say here. I said, "Why didn't you come to me if you're buying a place? You know, this is what I do." And she said, "I didn't think you dealt in that end of the market. I thought you were only like luxury and boutique." And I was like, No, I deal with the whole of the market. And they're having problems. There's some bumps in the road buying a new place. And some of those things that I just said, like, if they say this, if they say that, she's like, that's exactly what the agent said to me. That's exactly what, and it's like, yeah, you know, this is, you know, so even people who lived here for a long time, people who were born here and brought up in the system, if they're not used to it, then, you know, it can be like dealing with a slippery car salesman. They'll tell you anything to get you into the property and get the commission. And that's a problem, you know, that is a problem.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. That's the first lesson, is perhaps, I suppose, with the clients you're talking about coming in from the United States, to not assume that it's the same. And there you are, looking out for their interests. You know, what walking away is one thing, but I guess getting somebody on side like yourself, you could ask the right questions and qualify that situation, presumably, as well. Yeah,
well, you know, pardon my French, but I can be like a bullshit filter, you know, and I can all those questions that people want to ask, and you might not get an answer to if you're asking it yourself. You'll get a lot of deflections. And this is not everyone, by the way. I meet a lot of very, very good agents, very professional agents, but there are just too many. So, you know, I think there's something like 1% of the population in Portugal is a real estate agent, because it's a good way to make a living. Obviously, most of them do it alongside a second job, and they're just helping out family and friends. Now, we said this in our team meeting the other day. 1% of the population are real estate agents, and I said, yeah, but we're the 1% of that 1%. You know, we're the people at the top who follow the rules and do things properly so that our clients are protected. That's always, you know, I mean, that's a subject of what we're talking about today. It's always the first thing is put the client first. You know, it's never, don't think about. It can be a well-paid job. Don't think about your commission. Don't think about what money you're making. Just if you look after the client, everything else is going to take care of itself. And that's like lesson 101, you know? So
okay, let's do some of those specifics then. What else have you learned from, quite rightly, that perhaps the more demanding North American client?
Well, I mean, I guess clients coming from the US, I mean, generally they're pretty understanding and they know that it's going to be a different system. But they just, I guess sometimes they're surprised by the erratic nature of it. It can seem a little bit, disorganized. And I guess in some ways that's because it is. See, I can be organized on my side and say, hey, I want this list of documents. I've got, set sheets and, do this. But then I've got to go sometimes and deal with the buyer's agent. Some are extremely professional. Some that I take tips from and think, oh, that's a good idea. I think I'll start working a bit like that as well. But then there's the other side of it where it's just like, getting blood from a stone. So I think that surprises them sometimes when things are getting dragged out, taking longer than they should. Yeah. That happens a lot. And I've had that a lot recently, actually, where other agents don't want to share documents. They want to, they want to rent their client's place out. This is an example from the past week. They want to rent their place out in Cascais, but they don't want to share any of the client's identity documents because of data protection and things like that. Just made up stuff, which of course data protection is very important, but we need to validate the owner of that place. So for them to say, no, we can't share it, and out, but this then causes delays, unnecessary delays. So I think sometimes they're surprised by that because it's just not as streamlined here. We get there in the end, but it's not as streamlined. So just like anything else here, it feels like more bureaucracy. Yeah. You just got that sort of we'll just do it my way mentality.
And I think this leads to the question, isn't it? Do they want to do this deal or not? I mean, that does surprise people, doesn't it? And sometimes you get the feeling people don't.
Yeah, I mean, you see, we're talking about what makes a good agent, or kind of comes back to what the job is. I mean, some agents are definitely working for their own benefit. I've seen this many times. So the way the business works, very much like in the US, you have buyer's agents and listing agents. Sometimes I've got a property listed, somebody comes to me directly without a buyer's agent. So that's great for me because I earn more commission. But once you start dealing with other people, you just it's I don't know how to put it. You just got to be careful. You just got to be careful what you're being told. Make sure you're getting it from you're getting a referral for somebody that you trust, or from a group of people that you trust, because what can happen is you can get agents. Sorry, I went a little point there. What we're coming to was that they will look after their interests. They're actually thinking, how do I make the most money out of this? Now, I've been in a situation where an agent left, minimum 20 and possibly up to 40,000 on the table for their client because they didn't want to share the commission with me. They wanted to do the sale directly with a buyer who didn't have a buyer's agent. And so that agent just created a level of mistrust with her client, don't trust this guy, blah, blah, blah. The reality was they had an excellent qualified buyer who wanted to buy his property, but this agent just preferred to take all that money and keep it to themselves. So you just got to be aware of those kind of practices. And that's what it comes back to. What makes a good agent, and always be professional, obviously. Persistence. I mean, you've got to be persistent here because people will push back. And then just be honest and work for the client. Everything else will come after that. But you do see a lot of that kind of protectionism where, people would rather, not
do the deal
with
their way
you.
for their own benefit.
Yeah. And listen, that's not all. I mostly deal with very good agents. You tend to find each other, and you tend to weed out a lot of the you can tell, when you make a call and people just the way somebody answers a phone call sometimes can be, like, you don't sound professional. How they respond and talking about business and things like that. So I'm there like a filter. I want to filter all that out, as I said before, and that's the job as an agent. It's not just about how much money can I take and put into my pocket, which is what some people are doing it for. That's why 1% of the population are real estate agents, because they see it as easy money. Well, it's definitely not easy money, and it's quite a technical job, and you need a very good back office staff like we've got at the agency, who are just going through. I filter as much as I can, and then they come to me and say, Carl, you're missing this document. This is wrong. That's out of date. With this property, we need to know about this and that, and blah, 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 blah. Right, okay. So, I'm always learning, and that's it. You've got those several filters along the way that protects you, kind of thing. So
there you go. That's a due diligence on behalf of the client. The sense I'm getting, Carl, is that a lot of this is going on that the client will never know about, that you're working behind the scenes persistently, as you say, with a great attention to detail and making it happen behind the scenes. This is an ongoing conversation. We'll talk more next time about what makes a good real estate agent, especially here in Portugal. The things you didn't know are the things that Carl has learned, and that together at the agency we can help you with. Let's have a look at
known unknowns, as someone once said.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at specifically at some of the places you've been. It's been hot in central Portugal. You popped over there. Let's watch this little bit of video here.
Okay, so today I am near to Portugal Grande, looking at a property that's going to be coming to the market soon. Cute little T2 with lots of extra space. And look at this for views. Absolutely amazing.
Loving this.
Tranquil, rather hot, but yeah.
That is a classic central Portugal abode, is it not? That landscape, the sounds you can hear there. How was that over at Portugal Grande?
It was beautiful, and I've never been. I've been all over the country, but I've never been to that particular part. It's a beautiful place. It's very green, and that's all through the year. So I think perhaps some people who don't come to Portugal may not expect that anyway. They may expect it to be more dry and sort of barren, but no, it's lush and verdant, and that particular property is just sat in. It's not actually listed live yet. It will be hopefully by the end of the week, but it's just, you've got peace and tranquility. You've got a neighbour to one side who the owners get along with. And it's basically like a village of, I don't know if this counts as a village when there's only 4 or 5 people living in it.
Hamlet.
Is that a village? Hamlet. I'm going to say it's a hamlet.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've just got your own little world, and this has got like 1,200 meters of land. So they've got some fruit trees. They've got vegetable patches, and the house itself, it's just very nice. It's got a little guest house down below, so your family and friends can come and just be self-contained. And then the area, obviously, it is just beautiful. It's a stunning place.
Amazing. Great. So if that's of interest to you, get in touch with Carl. This is the contrast of the types of property you're dealing with. That beautiful rural place there, Portugal Grande, really characterful stuff in rural central Portugal. And then this beautiful palace of a place as well. Let me just get this onto the screen. A beautiful agency listing. A detached T6 in Araújo, not far from you. Araújo is amazing, isn't it? I have lived there, not in this particular house. More of the cheap seats, you might say. Still a lovely place to live in the apartments around the golf course. It was one of the first places we lived in Portugal, south of the river. Really enjoyed ourselves there. Despite being a golf resort, very easy-going, very relaxed, not up itself.
Can I just say, this isn't inside the golf resort. This is on the outside, like where I live. but still, yeah. I mean, this place I actually rented out a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And then that rental came to a sort of a natural conclusion, and the owners just decided that they'd just rather take the money. You know, it's their parents' home, so it's owned by a couple of siblings, and the house was built by their parents as a family home. So it's very, very well made. It's just a classic villa, you know, the beautiful villa. I mean, I do actually prefer stuff like this. I like the sort of more classic style of places, and it is just. I describe it as a T6, but I mean, it's got so many rooms. I mean, that doesn't include the office, and you know, there's a huge loft, massive space. I can't really show it in the pictures because it does still have some of the owner's stuff in there. It's crammed full of like the parents' things. So
look at the staircase.
Yeah,
that's amazing, isn't it? This is how to make a grand entrance first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Come down those.
Yeah, I mean, if you go down further there, I mean, you probably see it in the next images. You know, you look out on, you got this huge sort of bay windows in the living room looking out onto the yard and the pool. So, I mean, just a great place where you can entertain, you know, just a family can live, and you just straight out onto the grass and onto the pool area. Yeah. And so these rooms here you're looking at, those bedrooms, there's a little story there. So the two ladies, that own it, back in the 90s, they were huge fans of Beverly Hills 90210. And apparently there were some sisters in that shared a bedroom, that had bedrooms, had their own bedrooms, but they shared a bathroom in between. So that's the story I'm told anyway. So when the father built the house, he built the room like it would be in Beverly Hills 90210 for his girls.
That's a reference some people will understand. It's delightful, isn't it? What a place with these beautiful opening patio, upstairs patios with the bedroom doors opening out onto those. Lovely place built around the gardening. The garden.
Basically, pretty much every bedroom, I mean, the main bedrooms anyway, have got their own patio, terrace, whatever, you know, balcony. It's just space, and it's on a 900-meter plot too. So, and it's got this high fence all around, and it doesn't make you feel, because the place is so big, it's just got privacy. You've got privacy, and it's a very quiet part of. I mean, honestly, if I had a place, I would buy it myself, because that's the kind of space that I need. You know,
I can see you there. Aroeira, a highly sought after neighborhood, just 20 minutes south of Lisbon. This impressive 6-bedroom villa offers space, privacy, and comfort in equal measure. That's the beauty of this part south of the river, is you can get across to the hubbub, the metropolis. And you can do it by train. You could drive to the local railway station. You could jump on the Fertagos double-decker train, head across the 25 de Abril bridge, and then you're in town in less than half an hour. Incredible. Lovely, lovely property here. If you want to know more, get in touch with Carl. Actually, I can lift your email address off there, but this is a beautiful place, Carl. Anything to tell us before you go about your business today?
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm in a bit of a spin at the minute, just because I've just got so much on, and I'm going to Lisbon today to do a photo shoot with people from ID Lista for an apartment that I've got listed there. They want to do one of these sort of panoramic. I think they set a camera in a room and it pans around, so people can do like a virtual visit. And yeah, it's very, very busy, and I'm not complaining about it, believe me.
Excellent. So you're going to be a film star basically later on today.
I'll do more and more of this than I ever thought I would. You know, being online and the Instagram stuff. It's just we've spoke about this, but you know, about content and things like that. You do it so well, and it's not something that comes naturally to me, but it is an important part of doing any business, I think, these days. So I'm always trying to find ways to seem like an interesting person. It's not easy.
Which you are. There are photos you've sent me, which I'm not showing this morning. You're definitely an interesting person. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. All power. Good luck to you with all these lovely real estate deals you're doing in and around the capital, and actually all over Portugal and even the world. That is the reach of the agency, isn't it? We can help people out all over the world. Have a look at the incredible website that is theagencyre.com. Cheers, Carl. Have a great day. Love to the family, and see you soon. Take care, mate. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to